Hey, so I did a stupid thing at the weekend. Check out the roof rack, the wire on there. Guess who forgot that the barrier was a bit low and had the ladders on? What a Moby. This is something you thought I'd see, is it? See? Country Cottage gardener sticking his fingers in a deep damp hole. What you doing down there? Good morning YouTube, my name is Chris, I am the Country Cottage gardener. Welcome back if you're familiar with the channel. If you're new here, I urge you to subscribe. I come to my regular clients and do the maintenance work and the odd jobs and all that sort of thing that are required within the garden and the green spaces. Back at this regular job that I come to weekly, and I haven't been here for a full year yet, and this is probably one of the last large flower beds that I've got to tackle before spring officially starts. We're in that full spring at the moment where we're getting these gorgeous days, misty mornings, but we can still get the cold and we've still got a chance of getting some snow or whatever. Let's spin the camera around and we'll have a look at this flower bed. So you might have seen this one before, if, as I say, if you've visited before. I did some cutting back all through here because I'm going to be doing some bank work along there in due course. Now this bed is, as we can see, we've got the ivy in there. Don't mind the ivy for the ground cover, but don't want it going up these trees. And this magnolia is going to get swamped. Well, it is swamped, if I'm being honest. It is swamped. I'm not going to be taking any limbs off that because we're not really at the right time. I might take some small bits off here and there and nip some tips out and whatever. But anyway, we're going to try and define some of these shrubs. I mean, we've got the things like the Rose of Sharon down there, which is a little bit swamped. We're going to do some weeding to find some of the beds, you know, the basic stuff. Big ass rose in there with all these new shoots which have shot up there. We're going to do some thinning of that, and generally just try and nip this back into some sort of shape. We've got some lovely little blossom coming through there as well. We're going to leave the big trees behind, but try and step this bed through. Anyway, talking about it won't help. Let's put on some gloves and get to work. What an absolute pickle. What a mess. All ready. So we're getting a bit brutal on this rose here. We're smashing our way through it, taking out some real clonkers. There's so much dead within here. I couldn't even guesstimate when this was last dealt with, but starting to free up a bit more of the magnolia. I've got this branch down here which doesn't need to be here because we mostly want to focus it around the back there. But we're going to get in here now and start to separate the wheat from the chuff and yeah, take a bit more of this rose out. I've left all of these newer shoots coming up off of the so we've got some new leaders coming up here, and there's loads of fat swelling buds on those as well, so That's all, well, I say fat swelling buds, comparison to winter. Yeah, they are. You can see them. You can see them without having to get too close. Let's get in here and concentrate on this area. I might just take out these sucker plants down here. They're not really offering too much to the party, if I'm honest, and then we'll be able to see everything back there and some suckers. Anyway, let's get back in there and do it. Alrighty, just poured myself a coffee. It's always nice to have a little stand back and have a look at something like this as well, because when you're up and enclosed with everything, you can get a little bit misty. You can't always see what you need to do. It's always good to have a little step back, have a little look and assess. And yeah, going in there's so much dead wood as well, and even just taking out those branches which have fallen down and those bits which are crossing one another and all those gnarly bits, and even just taking out those bits really do make a difference. So just taking a little look back here, we've got the bulk of the trees coming over. First thing that I see there is that branch which is coming up here. Looks completely displaced from the rest. So I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to take the tip of it out, I think, and then some of it over there. Anyway, you'll see once I've done it. The next thing that sticks out to me is that bulk of crud all the way up the top there, all coming through from this ivy. Really needs to be taken down. Still lots to do, still lots and lots to do, but we're getting some definition. You can actually see around here now. I've been quite harsh on that rose, but I'm sure it's been an old beast, it will do it. We've still got to do a lot of trimming around here. Try and get the ladders off the roof because of my stupidity, you know. With I went to I had some time off with my little boy last week. Now, one of the main benefits of being self-employed is you can, you know, take some time off when needed. And I took him to a trampoline place, and I've gone in there with the van before, but I didn't have the ladders on. I just went under one of these, like, bang. And the problem is you're committed at that point. You've got the first one, it had bent slightly, so I thought, well, I'm gonna have to do the next one as well. So yeah, their barrier was completely fine, but my ladder racks, either I've got to take the angle grinder to them and cut them short, or try and bend them in the vise. But either way, stupid me. But as they say, sugar strands happens, right? Right, let's have me coffee and get on with this some more. What are you doing down there? Stay. Stay. Weather's taken a turn now. I thought I might have been getting moist this morning, but I thought no, it'll hold off. I haven't had rain for actually quite a while now. When you're a gardener, you need several layers of different types of clothing. So I've got like a high-vis chainsaw jacket, a heavier duty one, and then just a lightweight jacket. I don't particularly like wearing a jacket, to be honest, but especially when I'm dealing with brambles. And this one's fairly new, and it might not look snazzy, but it's expensive and it's certainly very good in the rain. Anyway, let's flash the camera around, and we've made some really good progress on there. I think this tree is going to really thank us for the hard effort that's been put in to stop it being strangled. Oh, butterfingers. Okay, right, so I didn't bother filming the tidying up. Who needs to see that? I've gone round and I've cut the edge, cut this all in. I know it looks really bare at the front here, but I did film it, but I wasn't happy with the footage. I say this sometimes, I do jobs and I think, oh yeah, I'll put that out for YouTube, but I don't. I probably film more than I actually put out, to be honest. And I cleared this bed here, and I'm going to call this the Rosanna bed, because this is full of the geranium Rosanna, you know, the one that spreads everywhere. So I'm going to thin this out, and I'm going to put a few, I'll probably put, I don't know, 20, 25 over there, I would have thought, because I can easily get that out of here. This was a mass of them, and as you can see, well, I went through and I cleared all of the debris, all the leaves. And these are easily split. And it wouldn't hurt to get some from around the edges of these. This poor old fuchsia needs to be cut back, massively hit by the snow. It's the only one I've not done in the garden yet. I should do that. But anyway, I'm going to take some of these. Actually, I wonder if it's still here. It was something quite interesting when I was in one of these. Oh, there it is. It's still here. I can't. Oh yeah, I don't think I could get it last time. There's a golf ball down in the hole. Trying to wingle my fingers. This is something you thought I'd see, is it? Country Cottage gardener sticking his fingers in a deep damp hole, trying to play with balls. Right, there we are. Success. Anybody who's into golf, Churchill said it's the best way to spoil a good walk. Top flight XL 3000. Well, I'll say it was a top flight if it managed to get down that little hole. Anyone who can get a ball down, I think they're vole holes, to be honest. There's lots of them all around. Voles leave their holes open where moles cover their holes. So anyway, this is the job. I did take one branch off the magnolia in the end, just purely because it was coming right down over here. I've done a lot on this, and I hope it does show. I'll have to really look back at the video, you know. I didn't take before photos, strange enough. I don't tend to do before and after photos. I haven't put anything on my professional Facebook page for, oh, I don't know, probably about 18 months, most likely. But there we are. I hope you've enjoyed that job. I hope that you've taken a little bit from it. I do forget to do commentary sometimes, like when I'm doing the shrubs. I'm sure you've seen I cut away underneath and then I start to shape upwards and then sort of curve the corners in and all that sort of thing. We've all got our different ways. But basically on these we've taken out the skirts underneath, taken a bit out the top, done a bit on the face, you know, blah blah blah. Oh, something I was going to say, a few goodies that I found. Nothing exciting there. A big old bit of iron with probably a bit of a gate, I would have thought. There's the male part and then the female would sit on top. But this was an interesting little find. Little glass pot. This is typical of the paste jars that you used to get, I would think 1900s, Victorian time. Paste jar, Oxo I think did these as well. I tend to nowadays watch other types of, I watch a lot of woodworking woodworking channels rather than gardening, and also I watched this one guy called what's he, Sci-Finds, and he does mudlarking, and I find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating, where he goes to like parts of the Thames or whatever, goes in the mud and sees basically what treasures they can find, coins, buttons, and all that sort of thing. Magnet fishing, I'll watch a little bit of that. I have got a huge magnet that I keep in the van for if I drop screws or whatever, and I've dunked it in the river. Only really found screws, and actually I'll tell you what, I took my boy once and we went magnet fishing and we found a whole bunch of screws, which was a bit lame, until we found the screwdriver. So whoever was working on the bridge dropped the whole box of screws and the screwdriver. But anyway, I'll put a link to it, to his channel, if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah, let's have luck in the muck, I think is saying. But a charismatic bloke nonetheless. But I like watching him and the history that goes with all the things that they find, metal detecting, and yeah, it's good. I know there's I think he's American. He's got a massive channel. I think his name's Jake, and he does a lot of diving. Finds GoPros, modern day treasures. I'd get him over here and find my GoPro from down in the river in about 1 foot of water. How lame and I couldn't even find it. And yes, they're not magnetic. I thought the battery would have at least been magnetic. Anyway, I'm rambling. I thank you very much for watching, following along as I do another one. Hope you'll catch up with me soon, and of course a little bit of grovelling. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and we'll catch up soon. Cheers. Bloody punk rockers. I love that show. Sticking his fingers in a deep damp hole. Trying to play with balls. Thought I might have been getting moist this morning.